So I'm coming back with the one-person interview setup, and I have a practical there. It's kinda, I mean, to like put an interest into the frame, but other than that, I cannot have any light motivated by that practical because how it's placed. So this is my key light, 600D at 10%. On the screen it looks a bit overexposed, but so actually the setup would be that I'm not looking to the camera, but off camera there is another armchair here, so I would talk with someone in theory, and so I will look like to the side. There is a light dome 2 with double diffusion on Aputure 600D. I have also a rim light behind me. I do not have a hairlight above me. It's kind of annoying to set up, so I'm testing the rim, which is not bad, I'd say. I tried to have a rim on the other side, but it was kind of stupid. Maybe if the practical is there behind me, then the rim light might be motivated by the practical, but I guess there is not enough room there to have it there. So, and it is kind of moody look or very moody look, so I still have my fill light, which is Amaran T2C with a lantern at daylight. So with this fill light, I can, I guess I touched this. A new Aputure application is really annoying because you touch somewhere and you change the intensity of the light and then you cannot change it back. Really annoying. And also if you try to turn off the light when you are in the light mode, then the turn on button moves and you cannot turn it on while not watching. You have to watch on the application, and so for solo shooter it is really annoying. Anyway, that's that fill light, and with that fill light I can actually create the mood because I can change the contrast ratio. Then with that fill light, I don't know if that practical makes sense, but I can like change this to like really washed out corporate interview, or change the mood with the fill light to something more moody. So actually I can have contrast ratio between 1:8 to probably 1:1. I guess next month I would also buy bigger lantern because this is 65 centimeters lantern, and also the space light from Aputure to see which one is better in such situations. So this is how the shots look like. I think this looks quite good. This is like the modification of this two-person interview, which was kind of a failure. So I think it's not that bad. And the wide angle is 35 millimeters on APS-C camera, so it is like 52.5 field of view, and the tight angle is the Sigma 85 on Sony a7 IV, so 85 millimeters, both at f2.8, but the APS-C is at f1.8 with one stop of ND, which maybe I have to bring down the exposure in post because it's like 0.3 stops brighter than the other one, but it also depends what is the real light transmission of these lenses. So yeah, again, maybe the fill light is at 14%, and without fill light is really, really moody. Then this edge light and the key light. And I cannot turn off this practical because the actual real practical, not a lamp with a bulb I can actually adjust remotely. So yeah, that fill brings something, but it depends how bright this fill light is. Maybe this is something which is better, I don't know. And I have a grid on 60D. I will show it in a second with my BTS camera. So I have a key light with a grid and a light dome 2. There are two cameras, and actually this fill light is quite far away, like 4 meters away probably. So it creates kind of soft fall off, and then there is key light is like 45 degrees probably from my face. There is a practical. This practical might be stupid, I don't know, but I think it looks okay. And there is this edge light with a grid, because without the grid it was illuminating the background and there was not enough contrast in my opinion. So this is Amaran T2C at like I think 30%. The aperture, the key light is running at 10%, and the fill light, it depends, it is between 5 to 40 to create different looks. And there are two cameras, so I'm sitting like, if I'm sitting straight, then I'm facing this APS-C angle, and the other one is a bit on my side. But if I'm talking with a person, I think it is better, it creates better shape of my face if I'm talking with someone who will sit here in front of me. Then I guess there is more shape to my face. I kind of like it. At least this one is successful, I think, although I'm not sure about the exposure because these two monitors tend to lie, but I checked with Sekonic and it should be okay. So that's how it will look like. I think it is okay, kind of okay. And yeah, I'm kind of happy about this ZV-E10 Mark II. Although the cripple hammer already hit it, there are some corks, like it is definitely worse than any more expensive camera, because if you want to shoot in log, then there are some limitations. It's really weird. You can create your own custom log picture profile, and then probably there are no limitations. It's really weird. But other than that, it's quite nice, and even the stabilization seems to work okay. So these are my two looks for today. And I think these two are, or this one with two angles is kind of successful. I think I can run this as a interview setup. And actually, I was kind of lucky. It was lucky accident that I placed the chairs here. So maybe on this, maybe at this tight angle, it's not like that. But on the wide angle, I got a strip of brighter part. Then there is a shadow created by the fireplace. Then there is a fireplace which is brighter. Then there is a practical. So there is a mix of brighter, darker, etc. Which is kind of nice. So I don't know, maybe actually the wide angle is too low, but I think not. Maybe a bit. Not sure about the headroom I got. Maybe it should be a bit higher. So maybe I would check the LiDOM 150, because I got that setup already here. So I will check LiDOM 150. The problem with light on 150 might be that then the other person won't be able to sit here, but I can still move it to the side or back it up a bit. So yeah, so this is with light dome, with light dome 3, with light dome 2 actually, but light dome 3 is exactly the same, except it won't collapse, and the grid likes to detach. I don't know if all these light modifiers got really bad Velcro, or I was kinda lazy with attaching the Velcro. Anyway, I will attach the bigger light dome and see what's the difference. I'm not sure there would be much of a difference, although maybe there would be a bigger wraparound. So maybe actually this cheek, but I think it looks nice. It kind of looks like a Rembrandt lighting, or it is actually Rembrandt lighting because I got this triangle here. So yeah, let me swap the modifier on my key light, and we'll see how this looks like. Okay, before removing the light dome 3, I will actually check how this looks like without the grid. Of course, the problem might be that it would be too bright. At 4%, it looks kind of okay-ish. Oh. Yeah, so the problem might be I won't be able to adjust it because it was at 3%. So how does it look at 5? Oh, this application is just terrible in terms of adjusting the light. There is no way to insert the value, so at 6% it seems it is f4. So yeah, so that's the look without the, so actually this fill light doesn't do much now, like all the background is illuminated by the key light. So I think that with the grid it looks better, but I guess it's the personal preference. And at the moment the fill light seems to be at 6%, and I can go higher, but this does not impact the background that much because the key light is illuminating. But this is like the typical corporate shot when I have the key light at 30%. What is the ratio? Like f2, almost f2.8 at 35%. So it is like 1 to 2 contrast ratio. So this is the light dome 2 without the grid and quite bright fill light, and I can tame down the fill light, but it only impacts my face, not the background that much. So I will now swap to light on 150 and see how that one looks like. Now it is light on 150. This is this one-stop diffusion, or 1.5. It is really big, and it is running at 6%. So this is without the fill light. So it is f4. So actually I will try to dim it, but it's really hard to do with this stupid application. There is no way to put a number. Okay, 5%. F4.1 still. F4. Yeah, so at 5% with light 150 without the grid, this looks like this. But this is the lighter diffusion, so I will switch to denser one because I like the denser more. It is more diffused light, and with this one, probably the color temperature is different than before, so that the white balance might be off. So that's the light 150 with lighter diffusion. And there is no fill light actually. It is so bright, and this fill light just impact this strip, maybe a bit background too, but not that much I think. And yes, you can go from this washed out really bright corporate look to without the fill light is more contrasty, and with the fill light at lower settings, then it could be like a bit moodier, but without the grid it is still quite washed out. So I will change the diffusion first, and then I will also attach the grid. Now, I don't know if this edge or fill is not strong enough, probably because I touched somewhere and it adjusted this application. New Amaran application is really annoying in that regard. I got double diffusion on LiDAR 150. I hope it's not in the frame, it shouldn't be. So it is f2.8.9, so I'm going to 6%. It is f4 at 6%, so just 1% more than with single diffusion, and this looks like that without the grid and without the fill light. So it's not that moody, there is just this strip of shadow on my face, the rest is quite bright actually. But if I add this fill light, it's at 6%, so the lowest, and then I can brighten up, go to this corporate look. And what is kind of annoying is that this practical creates the shadow on the wall, which doesn't look that good in my opinion, but yeah, it's just a matter of taste. And actually these frames on the wall are kind of distracting. Probably they should be removed, but it is what it is. So this is double diffusion without the grid, so I will mount the grid and see if this is any better. I mean, it should be moodier, so I'm moving back to 7% with the fill light, and then when I turn it off, this changes the background a bit. There are a less pronounced shadow when this is on, so I think it looks better, but without the grid, the key light is really bright. So no lights at all, and this is 100, and this is Aputure 600 with LiDAR 150. Maybe I should angle it a bit up, not sure. Looks like the color temperature changed a bit now. What is the exposure? f2.8.2, so definitely not enough, although it looks okay on the screen. So let's go to 12%. Not enough. Application is just terrible. 15% is f4, so 15% with light dome 150, but maybe I should angle it a bit up. I don't know, let me check, because this grid is cutting a lot of light, but it's really hard to reach the lever now. So maybe sometimes it's better not to touch, but I think now it's better because there is some reflection here, but it is smaller. And actually, if I look up, it is almost not visible, f4.1, so maybe 14% now, because the angle changed a bit. Yeah, f4 at 14%. So this is light dome 150 and Aputure 600 at 14% and double diffusion, and does look better than light dome 3 or 2. I don't know. I will have to check this. And now this is with the fill light. So definitely the fill light now is changing a lot. It is much less contrasty, and I can, if that app allows me, I can change the intensity of the fill light and actually go to like washout look, and like probably now it might be, no, there is still the same exposure. And what is the exposure here? f2. f2.8 at 54%. So yeah, but I like the moodier look, so I know, maybe something like that. It is at 15%. So yeah, that's the look with Aputure 600D and 600D and light dome 150 with a grid and double diffusion. And I think it is quite nice. And actually, yes, I think that, and when the light was higher, it was hitting my forehead and was like, it looks like there is a bald spot or whatever. So that's the look. That's the look. And I think it is quite nice. Although I will show in a second that with light 150 it would be harder to conduct the interview because it is in the way. So let me show you. So this is how it looks like with light 150. Actually, it's probably hard to sit there because it takes some space, but that interviewer can move, or I can move the light a bit to the side. It is now like maybe it's 45 degrees because I'm sitting at the angle, but yeah, this is the how that setup looks like when viewing from outside. And still there is a field light. It is quite far away, like 4 to 5 meters, then that's why the fall off is not that abrupt, and shadows are a bit less harsh. And there is this edge light, which I think is also nice. And the edge light is running at, this edge light is running at 29% at the moment. So yeah, that's the setup. And I think, and it's hard to say which one is the best, but I guess one of the setups with the grid is better for me than the setups without the grid. Is light dome 150 better than light dome 2? I don't know yet. I would check this and see. But basically this is the like go-to setup for 2 cameras interview. I guess the easiest you can do it. And I'm filming on the shadow side, and that's it. Cheers, mate. Cheers, mate.